Hey, Steve Zook here. Welcome back to Polkzoo channel. Yeah, I was watching a video I just recently did on lead guitar and talking about legato and staccato and right hand technique and whatnot. And it kind of reminded me of an idea for a video. So this video is on transitional devices. Now, transitional devices, well, I originally thought of that for single notes, can also be used as, compositional glue, so to speak, ways to connect different sections of compositions. If you want to check out my solo called Journey in Time, I did with Mr. Darren Vegas. He used to be a top producer with Death Row Records and a great engineer and a great producer. We had a blast. We really had a lot of fun and really, we were game on. We got a lot done. I really had a great time recording, and he did a little producing with me and kind of coached me a little bit on my compositions and, putting the pieces together. But anyway, what I noticed on this one solo Journey in Time, you can go ahead and do a search, is that I was, while I always feel I can always do better, I think it's important as an artist to appreciate what you do. And I was really happy with the solo, and I even noticed a little bit of Slash in there. And I think Slash is a very, very melodic player. His parts are really nice. And he even admits, he goes, well, I don't think I'm that good, although I have my moments. That makes me love the guy even more, because I love it when a great player has a little bit of humility. But what I've kind of learned from Slash, I didn't even think about this, was the way when he does a long solo, he kind of tells a story. And that is playing, because so many people that have a little bit of technique will just start blasting away. But it's about, making your guitar solo kind of take people on a journey. And so for my solo in Journey in Time, when I listen back to the solo, I appreciate the fact that there's different sections, and I like the way that they hook together, and some of my transitional devices and the way it all worked out. And like I said, I'm all about always getting better and always learning. That's what I love about art and music and playing guitar and piano and bass. It's always about learning. But it's important when you do good work to sit back and pat yourself on the back a little bit and go, God damn, I did a good job. So I'm really proud of my solo on Journey in Time. And Darren Vegas really liked it a lot, and I'm shopping it around a little bit for TV and film. But let's talk about some transitional devices. One of them, which I noticed, is using triads like this. Okay. Just major and minor triad. See, so we have and I must admit, I'm a little influenced on stuff like that from Eric Johnson. I love the way he kind of puts together triads and things. That's one transitional device, and as you can see, the forms are pretty simple. I'm either doing it like this, or okay. So the form. You can experiment with that, okay? Another transitional device is just diminished. Just like the diminished chord is a high tension chord which demands resolution and repeats itself every minor third. The diminished arpeggio what a great way to get from point A to point B, because oftentimes I think too many guitar players will just use a pentatonic, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the whole idea is to create color and variety and find your own voice and everything. So I'm not one to completely avoid. I love the sound of a minor pentatonic, and I love the blues scales and whatnot, but what I'm talking about here is developing color and style and mixing together the different components and elements of color and the different kinds of scales, okay? Another transitional device would be like a major 7 arpeggio. Say I want to go from here to here, right? So 1, 3, 5, 7. What a great way to go there. That's a little more interesting, right? Or you can kind of get the Eric Johnson sound. And also combining legato with staccato is really good to do too, but I don't want to get off on that because I'm trying to talk about transitional devices here, okay? So another thing is like these pull-offs. So that's a good transitional device, is doing things like that. Okay, there's all kinds of things that you can do, but I think the point, and also, oh, another one I want, then I'll make this short so it downloads. Another one is, you know, and I kind of influenced here by the great composers of the past, like Bach and stuff, is, and I'll tell you, if you want to hear, I hate to talk this way because music is an art, but let's face it, there's certain people that set the freaking bar, man. One of them was Bireli Lagrene. One of them was Alan Holdsworth. But listen to, there's a solo, you do a search for Bireli Lagrene and look for him playing a red Yamaha solid body guitar. He does a guitar solo on this piece that is just incredible. I mean, it's one of the best I've ever heard in my life, maybe the best. Because, I mean, he has some of the sweet kind of bluesy Robin Ford, Larry Carlton thing, but with much more, and again, I feel guilty even saying this because Robin Ford's a great player, Larry Carlton's a great player, Lee Rittenhouse's a great player, but I mean, let's just be straight about it, man. I mean, Bireli Lagrene was playing Django Reinhardt note for note at 7, 8 years old. The kid's incredible. John McLaughlin calls him a guitar phenomenon. He's somebody I've really learned a lot from. But he has a solo where the way he combines melodies and arpeggios and motives and melody, it's just unbelievable. It really, every time I listen to it, I get goosebumps almost. So do a search for Bireli Lagrene if you want to learn. We're really blessed to have him. Just an unbelievable player. He can even play bass like Jaco Pastorius. But again, I respect all players. I don't care if you play 5 chords. But anyway, for the matter of learning, if you want to really learn and hear a solo that sets the bar. There's no doubt about it. It sets the freaking bar. Do a search for Bireli Lagrene and look for him playing that red guitar. It starts off with him doing arpeggios, kind of in unison with a woodwind player. I forget what he's playing. And then he goes into a solo, and it's just, it's scary. I mean, it's like somebody once said, you know, Michael Jordan, when he was at his height, was like God disguised as a basketball player. Well, Bireli Lagrene is God disguised as a guitar player. I mean, the conception, the notes, it's just unbelievable. Check it out. But one of the things he uses in that solo, and I've been doing this for a long time myself, is things like this. Now, what a great thing to do. Now, I'm obviously not sticking in one key, and I'm doing little melodies, right? You can change it up, you know, but create little melodies like that using just a couple strings and moving around. It's a little more effective in terms of, let's say you're using these ideas for a solo, it's a little more effective, but you know, you don't want to put yourself in a box. You don't want to put your playing creativity in a box, but that's a really good technique to use as opposed to just, you know, and sometimes just to set. It always sounds like a paradox when you talk about this stuff, because sometimes it sounds good just to do something simple. So I'm not saying that you can. Like, there's times I just use some very simple ideas where I'm just doing maybe triplets, you know, and whatever I'm doing. But the point is creating melody, okay? You know, and like when I do something like this, so I kind of went from those kind of melodies to kind of a bluesy, you know, minor pentatonic type idea, okay? You can build motifs and melodies and whatnot, but there's lots of different transitional devices, you know, like I said, to diminish. All kinds of things you can do, but I got to make this short so it downloads. So just for now, experiment with some of that stuff and experiment with melodies. But yeah, check out that solo. Do a search for Bireli Lagrene. He's an incredible player. and look for the one where he's playing a kind of a red Yamaha. I forget the model number of it, but the solo is, I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, there's, I guess when you've been sitting around, because he was a gypsy and sat around probably playing guitar 14 hours a day, but he's no doubt, one of the top 5 guitar players on the planet. Some people think he is the best, and like I said, I hate to talk that way, because it's about art, it's about expression, it's not a sport. But there's certain people that are definitely at the top of the heap, like Michael Hedges, Joe Pass, Paco de Lucia, Bireli Lagrene, Jaco Pastorius on bass, Bill Evans on piano. So what I suggest to my students and people that are following me, study these masters, Bach, J.S. Bach, like if you listen to Bach and you listen to Michael Hedges and Bireli Lagrene and, Pat Martino, Joe Pass, Paco de Lucia, really, really great, Pierre Bensouz and people like that, you're going to learn more. And like I said, this is a journey. Really, playing music is a journey. It's a journey into musical consciousness, and I happen to believe that that's connected to creation. But don't get me started on that metaphysical rap. So, all right, cool. So work on that stuff. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for everybody who's purchased guitars from us. We appreciate that. And keep the positive faith. Ciao.